Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. This is epistemic-gnomes, and this time we are starting a new sort of category of live streaming. I draw those characters here, stylized stuff, and then I've been trying to adapt them to 3D in Blender, right, 3D language, and it's very challenging because how to model this kind of thing. It's like there's many techniques and methods, that then there is rigging, right, and animation, but yes, so adapting, very hard. I will never get satisfied with that without enough experimenting. There's no real school for that, right, adapting. Either, of course, there are different approaches, and probably this can help in developing better or worse adaptation, but usually it is very intuitive. We need to do it with a clear confidence. Sometimes it's like a research that we've made. So I've been making this research for quite a long time, but only more recently, thanks to rigging, that I have been able to find out that actually some adaptations are better to get some benefits from the 3D language instead of trying to reproduce exactly as it looked like in 2D, right? And so, but I still believe there is always something more to be made in 3D regarding exacting or approximating to 2D. And so in this, so I have this model sheet here of this character Nixo. She's some archetype that I keep reiterating. With her other name would be Nephilim, or also Cassandra on old times. And yeah, the character design doesn't change too much. Of course, clothes, also the mindset also doesn't change much. So here, the challenge here is low poly, or somewhat very low poly modeling. So this is another approach that I'm using. I really like minimalist stuff, in the sense of like pixel art, low poly as it matters, but I have never considered myself a low poly artist, like to make those very low poly things. I have a threshold in difficulty, especially because, as you see, my drawing is not minimalist. It's simplified, stylized, but it's not minimalist. It's not like very cartoony, right? It's more heavily inspired in other stuff, although I try to simplify. I have these organic shapes with from human figure drawing and anatomy drawing, and then of course this makes that, for me, making minimalist character design is like very complicated. I really, so, but there is a threshold to explore, and so we'll start to explore this. I have some inspiration from other poly modeling, and recently exploring the subdivision surface modifier, I was able to realize that even the subdivision, I mean, okay, I lost my line of thought, sorry. I was able to realize that it is possible to have very good subdivisions on extremely strange, bizarre, low poly stuff, that sometimes the vertices, they are placed in spots that make no sense, but when it subdivides, it gets really good. So this is something, the sort of stuff that I like investigated, and this is what we're gonna try to attempt here. Usually I work on I start on the left side, I don't know, habit. And so we clip and we merge, and that with this, so now we have this thing, and I start work. I don't care much about the how to say, not the shapes in the, yes, I care about the shapes, but actually I'm sort of yes, I could have made that subdivisions with the sphere, but I don't like messing up with, I'm not very good at with manipulating objects themselves, so I prefer to work here and edit mode, and we'll do something strange happening there. No, nothing strange. So and we'll start to develop the low poly, we'll start to develop the shapes along with the mesh topology, which for me is very, very important. And I have already an idea what I want to do. So because it's very low poly, I'm going to cheat, because actually I've seen on some artwork that even though the limbs on some parts of the body can be very low poly, we can augment the mesh density a lot in areas that we want to have, for example, a better rigging with more smoothness. And this is the crazy stuff that I intend to do in this original character attempt. So I don't know if doing this in streaming is a mistake, because it's not something I have a lot of practice with, and a long time I don't try to model characters from scratch. I've been mostly rigging or stuff, but it should be interesting, except that it could take a long time, so I'll try to focus more on the work itself and try to not chat too much or explain too much stuff. But feel free to comment and we'll see where we can reach. So here So some parts of this model will be, of this character, of my character, C character, will be very low poly. I think the majority of it, and some others on special points where I want, special regions where I want to get good, more interesting expressions according to certain cartoon demands, provide I don't end up deciding to make like 2D rig for some stuff. Like, yes, there is the possibility to make 2D eyes and eyelids and eyelashes and all that, and eyebrows, and 2D mouth expressions, and this could be interesting, but I want to make the crazy attempt to do this on 3D. So there is a lot of things to actually, yeah, why not join this mesh topology here at last, yeah. This might work, and of course there will be space for more subdivisions later. So for now, let's try to keep it somewhat simple, but just getting the idea of the mesh topology and somewhat get the geometry more or less right. Okay, so here I'm probably wrong with those faces. This is exactly an area, the mouth area, which I'm intending to make a lot of mesh topology, but this will be later. For now, we are just making the planning for the face rig mesh topology, and I think I'm not making lips yet. It will be, although we could indeed, right? Without the subdivision surface modifier, this really looks weird, right? Choose query. So let's add this at once. This will have just one is enough, no optimal display, and I don't want to see that. Alright, so then here of course this is very long. We could already make the loops for face loops for the eyes. How this is looking? Oh, this is very inadequate for the. This should also actually expand a lot regarding the nose. Yes, it's there. This could be tinier. I don't know if this should be connected to this way. No, I mean this one. Maybe we just connect this. Let's make another thing here, and okay, let's get this another. Extrusion here. Okay, that part of the face might work. Here we want some more things at the top. Here for the eyes, yeah, let's assess this part of the eyes, and let's augment this Not that it helps a lot. Maybe. Okay, this is better. Let's see. Yes, it's a very rough character design, but I can understand it. The model sheet, I mean. So here, mesh topology for these eyes would be like what? This is already alright. So I'll have to use this. Let's cut there, right? Because there's not enough. Okay, let's try to move this according to, yeah, something like that. Then here I can, yes, then for the trigons, all that, I'm not sure yet how I will be dealing with trigons. Some places like here I believe it will be good, provide they subdivide well, otherwise might be actually we are having some problem with the subdivision modifier already for some. Yeah, so there is still hope, though. We could have in the sense I could subdivide and then from this apply, right? Yeah, this could be. Yeah, her nose, the tip of her nose is really pointy, so this is a problem now for. Anyways, let's continue here. I think I can make this connection at this time, right? Here, this could work too, so let's make these connections. Here I think we can live without this. And here we can also live without this. Although this subdivision, yeah, this mesh topology is probably bad. This is not even looping as I wanted, so okay, this is I see this is pointless currently. Alright, so here let's start working on this from the. So what I want here is to have this eye, if even we simplified, might be bad, so let's see, merge that. Is that enough? One. Okay, let's try to keep it simple. It's like spline, so we keep like 3. Don't seem good enough, but there will be a subdivision. So even though the shape of the eye here is like that, doesn't mean that the mesh topology shouldn't have some sort of more subdivisions here, so that the shape of the eye can be shaped in other ways, reshaped as required. So on certain expression, because it's not like she has only that expression, and of course the mouth is not like that. It's just something that occurred by accident. Let's try to get that shape. Even for might not be good for a rest position mount, but okay, at least it matches the model sheet, so we'll see that later. Well, not exactly match them. This could be a bit larger. Alright, let's use that. Yeah, that mesh now is horrible. Yeah, those face loops got really far from the mouth. They tried to adapt to the shape, and then it got really messed up. But this guy gives some interesting idea of how the mesh topology can orient itself, the mesh geometry can orient itself to attempt to reach certain expressions, right? So here, of course, I have the problem of no lips, right? So this is very strange in 3D at least. So let's try to do something about it. Lips would be, yeah, actually this means that let's make a cut here. Let's bring this forward. Yeah, this could start to be the lips, right? Bottom lip. Could bring this corner. Of course, this is very bad. And here, of course, we could consider, okay, let's get back proportional editing, but very low. Okay, no, this is not working. I still have to figure out how to deal with that shape there. Okay, it's not terrible. That's looking, yeah, it messed up a little. Let's try to readapt it. The size, I mean, this can get smaller. Yeah, proportional editing is difficult to control sometimes. Yeah, I never get to get this right apparently. And this is just one mouth shape, so two protruded bottom lip, no, not required. Here, maybe a very tiny face measuring here to solve this thing. Then what you can do is looks like something gone wrong here. No, it's just impression. Oh, something got wrong indeed. So I think I've lost some face. No, it's just like... Okay, let's flip normal, I guess. Go to it outside. No, it's just a strange colored... just as there for some reason. Alright, this also, let's bring it like here, and this probably still not good. Alright, like better. We'll deal with that for now. That should be enough. Then yes, so for the eye I'm considering we'll probably need more subdivisions there for the eye anyway, so I think let's give it so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's give it, let's make another subdivision here, so subdivide here, so we can already, alright, there would be eyelids, so this is not so much about what happens here, but before we delete this we will want to make the inside stuff, right? So here we have this something like that, right? So this will be the central one, and then we'll do the same pattern therefore. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is it. Not sure that will be enough though, so I think I've lost. Okay, let's do it again. Subdivide, and subdivide. That's okay. So here should try to respect. I see, I'm losing some stuff here. Alright, let's do the inward stuff before delete this face. Okay, let's push this here. Got messed up. Okay, somewhere like this. here. Inwards, no, it doesn't work, so extrude inwardly, alright. Smooth, then we can, yeah, let's make subdivision here. It's going crazy, so let's just delete this face. And probably I need a nice surface, which I don't have ready now. Maybe this is flip outside, right? Flip inside, flip outside, alright, so I'll flip it correctly. Let's try to make these connections here, so these probably start going, can get some subdivision here. This merge there. And okay, so here a lot of things that can go wrong in this area, usually very difficult to decide, but at this point I have more experience with this character design and 3D shapes, and so I can already intuitively know what are the proportions in 3D space to solve the character design. This is interesting, this I had to develop over time. And okay, so there should be some face loops here, right? Yeah, this face loops around, yeah, let's create another one. Yeah, this could be already eyelids mesh, so why not? Let's do a lot here. After we gonna, okay, let's smooth out this. This one is not working exactly as expected yet. Okay, so you see that I'm giving a lot of attention to the subdivisions of the face, and this seems to contradict my idea of very low poly, but actually this is happening because I'm still working on areas that are very critical to what I want in the end. So soon enough I'll be working on the body, and then I want you'll see how simplified I want to be making this stuff. So currently this seems to be okay. What about this thing? Now this goes there, right? Okay, so with subdivisions this is not quite what I'm looking for. These two rounded shapes. Of course there are things here. I should get the eyes right. What's going on here? Okay, so there's a lot of things here, yeah, about these eyes. These are badly positioned, very badly positioned in the side thing. These faces also could be using proportional editing here on a small thing. Yeah, this goes up. Yeah, let's push this up. there's this curve here. Here is, we can do more like this. This can go up because of that. Now the shape here, lateral shape, is more like that, so we can bring this also here. Yeah, I shouldn't have done these subdivisions that early. They are annoying now to fix. Oh, hello. How are you doing? Although I need to admit that your nickname is suspicious. I know Portuguese figures, but I don't mind. Cool nickname, right? Great. Yes. Welcome. Yeah. What bring you in around this channel? Just curious. Blender, rigging, animation, characters, character design, I don't know. Feel free to answer or not. Here I'm modeling this, it's a poly modeling thing. I have a character, yeah, no, the subdivisions are causing it to become terrible. I need to readapt all the time. Let's see. I was trying to find some tutorials about making music and stuff and found your live. Music, yeah, very cool. Composition, very diverse objective, but indeed creative stuff. What kind of music? Just anyways. Maybe some gaming music, ambience, electronic, no, I don't know, jazz. So here anyways, I have been doing lives lately on rigging in Blender, rigging characters, and this time I'm attempting to rig this too, but not yet. I need to first survive the challenge of poly modeling, right? So there's long time. So this is the character I'm making, but the adaptation to 3D is really complicated for this kind of stylized character. Of course, I'm aware I cannot make it exact adaptation, so that's why it's an adaptation, but I'm trying to make it sort of similar. I just got started and I'm really awful at it. I say, but my main inspiration is Hideki Naganuma. I don't know this artist. Let's take a look. Musician, DJ Jonas. Oh, I see. Maybe I know some of its music. Okay, right. I'd have to watch, listen to something interesting reference. Yeah, Japanese composers, right? Composers are often really, really good, right? Falo português, sim. Português do Brasil. But the live usually I make in English, right? Mas dá pra falar algumas coisas em português, sim, sem problema. É que pode chegar mais gente no canal internacional. Ah, legal, legal. E provavelmente joga League of Legends, ou jogava, porque... ou talvez Wild Rift, ou alguma coisa relacionada ao universo do League of Legends, né? Sim. Com certeza, é a palhaçada do League of Legends, é piada todo dia. Isso quando não é nos campeonatos, como agora o CBLOL que terminou, eu assisti o CBLOL. Eu também jogo LOL, mas agora não estou jogando, estou muito ocupado com essas coisas e não dá tempo. LOL é muitas horas que precisa para rodar o mapa, tudo, então, além de ser muito viciante, né? Mas o jogo é muito legal, né? Então, já que eu não estou jogando, pelo menos assistir os campeonatos, tá? Watch championships at least. Hello, this showed up and in my recommended feed. Wow, YouTube is helping me. Okay, welcome Ignigir. Or I'm here. I'm trying to model a character in Blender, adapting from this. Yeah, this is my OC character, original character, one of them at least in this style, and I'm trying to adapt this in Blender to 3D language, and it's very hard. I want to make it low poly, right? I like low poly, but I'm confident I'm gonna reach a good result. But for some reason, I've decided to start with the head, and the head and the face is the area where I want to concentrate a lot of more mesh geometry, right? So this is taking a long time, but with some progress. Yes, it was occasionally, I was chatting with Yordle's colleague there, because but in Portuguese. Usually the live stream I do is in English, so it was really circumstantial. But yes, using language skills as it is possible. The 3D model looks awesome. Oh, thanks. But this is just the beginning, and so the idea here is that I want to maintain as low poly as possible for certain areas like the head here, and have the subdivisions solve the rest like this. Maybe even this is too much, but there yes, so I'm eager to go to the body, because the body character design has much more things to explore in a simple way. It should be much faster, and I know some poly modelers that make incredible low poly models with very low mesh, and so mesh density, and this is why I'm trying to mix stuff, right? Tô tentando misturar as coisas, low poly com medium poly. Yes, so did you have any social media? Well, I have Discord. yeah, I'm mostly using Discord and there are Blender community, Blender Discord channels. There are my nickname is this one, epistemic-gnomes. You can find there if you are in one of those communities. I can add you as friend. Now it's just happened, the coincidence of this dude being Brazilian and me too. Yes, pretty coincidence, yes indeed. So hold on, I'm reading the chat. Oh, another viewer. Yes, I don't understand the 3D modelers. Someday I would give a try to 3D modeling too, but my computer really sucks. If you are doing low poly model, like even like this, without perhaps any subdivisions already, probably you can use that in your computer. Unless your computer is like more than 10 years old, like 15 to 20 years old, maybe in that case you'll still be able to use Blender, but you'll have to download an older Blender version. Alternative to 3D modeling, of course, is 3D sculpting, but it demands more of the machine. So indeed, 3D modeling would be better, but Blender is quite a lightweight software, so this is incredible. So you probably would be able to make poly modeling, just like I'm doing here in your computer in Blender, provide you don't do, this is still low geometry, but there's an amount of geometry you should be able to use. Like millions of polygons, no, never mind, but maybe thousands, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000s might still be okay, but not millions. Did you have any social? Okay. Oh, I would follow you on Twitter if you had. Oh, yes. I don't know much about Twitter. I've seen many artists have stuff on Twitter, so maybe it could be a good idea. My notebook is really old, to be honest. Oh, okay. I understand. I've been using a computer for Blender, for modeling in Blender, that was about nearly 10 years old. And yeah, 9 years old, 8 year old. I could do this, so I've just changed my computer, by the way. I couldn't even do live streaming. I didn't have enough RAM memory to stand the softwares that are running simultaneously for streaming. Now I have, so now I have a new computer, but I was able to make poly modeling. But I understand a notebook is sometimes more complicated to handle, so yeah, might worth wait to get a better computer in that case. I don't even draw in my notebook, to be honest. I draw on my phone using my finger. Oh, drawing with fingers. Yeah, that can work. I had a friend that could even draw with a mouse, so the fingers might probably better than with a mouse, depending on the circumstance. No, your English is fine, totally understandable, no problem at all for me. It's clear. I don't see also any mistake, and I'm not an English teacher though. If you don't understand my English though, you can ask. I can answer in Portuguese, just so that you understand. No problem. No problem, dude. Oh yes, but that friend was really talented. So he was he didn't have a Wacom table or something like that. This was, I'm talking about, this was 20 years ago, right? A time in Brazil, or at least in Brazil, where having a table was not something very that popular, right? So in the early 20,000s, right? Thanks. Okay, so you can understand. That's fine. So you're good in English. If you're good in English, you can understand my whatever I say. Apparently, so very good English to listen. It's fundamental. So here this part starts to get a little complicated. I think I messed up this part. This is actually needs to be. Yeah. So my idea, maybe I need more of these loops here. Okay, so let's attempt this. So I'll pick this and this. I'm going to try to push to this direction here, and then this will. So I'm trying to respect the face loops, right, of the mesh topology. And the cool thing about these face loops is that they go around the mouth, just as this, and these ones, so this helps just around the eyes here. This helps after later on in shaping the forms, right, the anatomy, the whatever, for deformation, for 3D animation. So this is useful for, as we say, rigging methods, right? So I'm doing the mesh topology in advance, and here we can see that I probably require a lot more of those to have better possibilities for deforms. This is an area where I'm really expanding on purpose the amount of mesh topology, and so the amount of mesh geometry, mesh geometry is something and mesh topology is something else, but they are related. Alright, so here let's see what we got. Start to mess up with the mouth in many terrible ways. So this, let's go again here and derotate. I think very difficult to work with this. I'm not paying attention with the proportional editing, so I'm destroying my model in horrible ways. This is one of disadvantages of the method I'm using, because I'm trying to shape the face, the geometry, at the same time that I'm working on the mesh topology. So this can be extremely confusing. It's certainly very complex. Usually other artists would just use some more conventional method, which is like sculpting the shapes, 3D sculpting, and then making mesh retopology. But I prefer, for some reason, to do this crazy thing, because I'm not a 3D sculptor, at least not yet. I prefer solving everything from the mesh already, and then there is this approach in modeling where we start by the mesh topology, or even in this case mixing stuff like I'm doing. Okay, so here let's smooth out this. I think I'm gonna create another here, and as we go, it seems to start to get interesting, but with a lot of retakes, right? Making a lot of mistakes here, and Okay, it's not that bad currently, but have to be reassessing. Yeah, this part particularly got very messed up. Let's do this. Let's do this. Fortunately, it's kind of easy. Yeah, now it's good, but it's still not how this character should look like. Let's try a trigon here. Oh, this got messed up. No, it didn't. It didn't. I feared this vertex was clipped in the clipping region of the mirror modifier, because I have clipping on, merging on. It will be a terrible mistake, but that's not the case. Alright, so here let's... No, I'm using it wrongly, so... I could be using some materials here already, because... So we have something like shadow, X-ray, no X-ray, cavity... Wait, something... I'm missing some options here. What's going on? Oh, here they are. So maybe you can use some of these. This is not a good multi-expression, but it's kind of starting to look like what this tile in 3D, I guess, could be doing in terms of multi-expression. So it's not that bad. It's just one expression though, so mouth pose, so really not enough. We have to assess way more. But as we see, this is kind of cool. Let's see if we can make some rotations here, replacements. Here, let's smooth this out, so we align this. Yes, now this is too pointy. And of course we are lacking some mesh here. Some positions here are very wrong. Here I could pick this and also... yes, there are stuff on the chat. Hold on, let's see. The graders, I don't understand shit about okay, but I'm liking that. It's very cool. 3D model is kind of can be addictive. It's very immersive, right? But usually we work it slowly. As soon as you get a good computer, perhaps you could use some... I think there are lower 3D softwares that allow polymodeling that are lighter than Blender. But yes, but I'm not sure. There should be, but maybe they are not. Blender is very cool. It has a lot of powerful tools. I'm learning a lot by seeing you work right now. Oh, that's very cool to know. Thanks, Igni Gear. So if you have any question here, we are I'm here at your disposal. Just ask away. We'll see if I can get it. Okay, so this is dangerous. We need to... Yes, so for this character design, yes, mesh topology here, we need to bring some... The question is how I'm going to reshape this. Yes, usually what I was doing, so something like that, right? just the continuation of this, but on these other orientations now. So below the jaw, and this would eventually get merged into the neck, but there is where we are gonna start a lot of simplification. Already in this region I could simplify, because this is not a region that requires actually a lot of shapes, I think. So I'm considering already simplifying the mesh from there. But let's finish this. This is very complicated on this model here, and I still don't know the ideal solution for it in terms of mesh topology, not even in terms of shapes. So I'm still exploring this for the character design. The face, right? Here is clear some stuff are wrong. I need to reassess this. I need a nice eye here to another object usually to do something about this mesh here. So let's dissolve this for now to make our life simpler. So this is still the eye. Let's bring this back also. Of course, it without proportional editing. I'm using shortcuts. We can assign shortcuts for a lot of features here. So here it's all shortcut already by default, but if it's not, we can assign a new shortcut. And it's very important sometimes to use shortcut for certain peculiar workflows. Okay, so this is very bad. This is not like the eye should. The eye is larger than that, so this was a bad idea. I need to enlarge this, and this also should be, and it's very displaced apparently. Now it's the character design, which is sort of impossible, so I need to, I draw it too fast and without any revision or retake, so it's normal that it gets, for me it's normal that it got bad. So this is really the eye contour, that thing here. So the eyelids I'll create later, but only after I got, and we pick all this and we can smooth out those things all at once. Here this part really looks bad. I think this, let's redistribute the mesh here. Yes, so it's better. I believe this amount of subdivisions here should be enough for the eye, at least for now, but we'll find it later, right? Here it seems a bit bad redistributed, and here, okay, there should be space for the ear of this character, which somewhat should start around here. So there's the face loop here for the eye. Oh, this is the mask something. Okay, so let's not, okay, I see here. I'm going to split this here. Actually, no, let's do something. Subdivide, and then let's make a loop from here. Then we connect here, and then I disconnect this, merge at last, then merge here, and this loop. Oh no, I already have a face, but this is another, okay, another one, so that seems valuable. We'll keep it. So I can, let's start, okay, the music, and hold on, sorry, the chat, I need to keep reading. It was you that did the drawing reference. Yes, this is my drawing style after decades of of drawing. But yeah, there are so many references today that we so this is a random drawing, and here the model sheet where we actually use for modeling, right? Even for 2D animation or comics, usually artists use model sheet for referencing their art to themselves, but usually for a team, artist's team, right? So it's a professional method, model sheet, right? And then yes, of my that's it. Poman, vou saindo da live porque tenho que trabalhar. Yes, it's quite late already. Thanks, Yordles. Have take care and see ya next time. Mas foi bom te conhecer. Yes, prazer é meu. Me passa o Discord aqui no chat para eu te mandar pedido. Yeah, sure. It's yeah, okay, I'm gonna add this. I think I need some. Sorry about the delay. I was okay. So how do we? I don't know how do we do this thing. Okay, I think that's it. All right. So this is the. It's still old. It has a. I need to update the. They don't use numbers anymore, right? In Discord, but I haven't changed yet. I hope that works. So thanks for being around and sharing some ideas. And yes, that's it. And see ya if in case you're still there. In case not, anyways. Until next time, and yes, just add me, we start chatting there, exchange some ideas. So yes, I'll close Discord because it can be can distract me immediately right now. Alright, so the shapes here, we see that in 3D shape these stars look good, but actually according to the model, the model sheet, this is still too small. It needs to. What part of the mesh is that? No, that is behind. Okay, this is okay. So it's just that this thing is badly positioned. So we need to reassess this. These shapes we probably. What can you tell about your OCI Vercus? Okay, so that is a long story, very long story. I have unfortunately I don't have enough. Let's see if I still can find this. There's some Smack Jeeves. This was an old comics. Let's see, Smack Jeeves. What's his? I think I have somewhere here. Okay, so here I have a. It's very rough, but all the pages, I think they remain here. Okay, so there is this webcomics, very made like just as a put it there. I've made it like as a hobby thing about 10 years ago, 12, maybe not that far, but yeah, 8 years ago perhaps. And there's a lot about the style, how those characters, how I draw those characters, right? So it's very good. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish this okay, where is that character? She appears there. She showcases as, I don't even remember her name on that yeah, very bad to navigate here. It must, hold on, she appears only nearly the end, so hold on. Okay, there. No, still not there. Page 76, maybe. No, it's even more. Sorry. So here in this story, she appears as the sister of the protagonist, and she's magician's alchemist student, but she's not studying in the college or something like that. She's very aggressive and like meme, right? So nothing. And but she yeah, she's hot-tempered, but she's very confident she will succeed in many things. It's very it's cannot be explained like that. Let's read something about the story. Certainly here we already, yeah, and a bit narcissistic also, but this will be a negative trait explained in a bad way, right? Of course, a character doesn't exist alone, in my opinion. They are always part of a relation, right? So this character here, Nixo or Nephilim, I'm reusing her on now on a sci-fi project. And here actually, I don't know if I'm modeling her for sci-fi or fantasy, that what version or iteration, right? But probably what I've been doing lastly is sci-fi, so maybe it's sci-fi is the last iteration, right, for sci-fi. She's more she's more educated in this universe. She's more like a scientist and an agent, and she has a companion also, and for some reason she is always after the main character, but this is her old practice since the other how to say, since the other stories. She's always looking for the other characters. It's like perhaps a secret romance or something. I believe the real idea is that she is lonely, basically. This, maybe she had some very difficult childhood or family, and then she needs the protagonist. She wants to be friends with the protagonist. She wants to be close to, because she finds her fascinating. And the protagonist, that which it's another character which doesn't appear in that webcomics. It would she would appear, but she I didn't finish, unfortunately, so she didn't appear. Should be like that, more of this. Yeah, I don't use any example right here. It's better to show the character design where. Okay, I have a page here, hold on, where you can see some of the I don't have a scanner, and drawing on computer is really difficult for me, and so these are 3D versions, but it's not good. This is what this. Okay, so I hope you see. So this is another iteration, more fantasy like. So Doris or Dorothy, she is the protagonist of the sci-fi story. I've been working on rigging her, modeling her, rigging her for the last lots of time already, adapting to from 2D to 3D. I wasn't totally successful, but we're working on that direction. She's would be the second, right? Although we have other characters, but she's a very important central character. So here she's called Nephilim, and she's the one that, so you see, she's close to the character, the main character, because yes, there is some very important relation between the two. I like the characterization. It's very sweet. Yeah, I think this is on purpose. I think I have a lot of influence from certain anime, manga, how do you say, casts of characters, right? So of course, as we see, it's very influenced by anime, but it's not anime. Maybe it's more it's a mix between anime and some other cartoonish styles. And it took me a long time to make this actual adaptation. I started drawing manga, or trying to draw something like manga, and it took a lot of time until I found out, no, wait, I can do something else. And so each of these characters, they have, yes, they have a personality. It's the same universe that I've been reiterating for many years, since 2010. Yeah, since about 2010, to be more fair, 2011, beginning 2011 mostly. And it was on when I created first this character, but some archetypes here, sort of, in terms of character design, already existed, like her. And yes, actually she existed already in 2010. So we're talking about 13 years ago of iteration of this stuff. And the characters that I create here, it's not like an evil story of like sword and sorcery, those evil things where there, or even, let's say, Lord of the Rings, even the Hobbit, which is for kids, right? The book, right? I'm talking about the books, literature. There are those very hostile universes, right? Where like things are really evil, and even we see this in certain manga and anime, dark fantasy, but doesn't need to be dark fantasy. Lots of story that there are brutal evil out there, the enemy, right, to be conquered, to be fight off. It's just convention to many stories, not only to those modern stories, but also to mythologies, myths, right? Not mythologies, but myths, and another. And what I try to do with those characters is like the universe they live in. It's not they exist in. It's not a universe where we can find this sort of infinite evil. It's just there's no such Machiavellism. It's more gray, and even the darkest thing is not as dark. So this is it's like a cartoon story, right? You have the villain, but the villain is sort of a comic guy or girl, so it's sort of childish in certain sense. And so this is a generic approach that I have for each of those characters. So even this character, let's say, should be a really terrible narcissistic individual if she was real in the real world. But actually because it's cartoonized, and she is a better version of that, a saner version. But at the same time, this can be a bit dangerous, because if we think we may find someone like this in real life, this can be really, really bad, right? And this happened a lot to anime, right? On other stories, like superheroes. Sometimes, I think at least this way, it's not absolute truth, it's just a perception. Sometimes we may think that, oh, that person really resembles to that character I've seen in a story. Then we start to believe that that person is exactly like the character, and eventually we end up finding out that it's not exactly like that. Maybe there are a lot. The character is not a model for the people, although often it can be, in the good sense and in the bad sense. But characters are not as complex as people. Can never be as complex as they are. They are just constructs, right? Abstract constructs, nothing to do with real people. And so characters are just hyper simplified versions. Of course, this doesn't mean that there are excellent characters, but yeah, this is my take on this after studying this. I like that approach to world building and characters, very different from what I make in the. Yes, what interesting. What do you do? Do you create characters by drawing too, or do you make uh, do you write? I don't know. How do you develop characters and world building and stories? I like to know, because it's very interesting to share those ideas. There are as many ways as creating universes and characters as there are people, right? Individuals. So here I'm having some trouble with this. I don't want to connect this right away, but maybe that's what we got left. So alright. Maybe it's not so terrible. It's a huge shape, and you see it's a very critical place. Now maybe I should solve the ear. The ear, I barely see it. Okay, it's from here that it grows, so it should be something like here. Okay, so I'm going to make something like this, perhaps. Yes. Then let's eliminate this face. Here we can also eliminate this face. We probably could consider what I'm doing. This is very low poly. I don't need this. I can probably just do something crazy like extrude here and do this, dissolve that, okay, already dissolved. So let's see. Oh, I'm writing a comic. Interesting. Very similar to manga. Cool. I like to approach the world building. It's very different. Okay, so sometimes I study philosophy and psychology and combine that with an archetype to create characters so I can represent a theme in a story. Oh, that's really interesting. Using the theory to make archetype and then to create a character so I can represent. Yes, I see. So that relates to something that I've done so far. I like the 3D model so far. Yes, thanks. I know a lot. So perhaps you like this. Actually, it is true that many of these characters maybe not all of them, but some of them were born through the help of a method of archetypes, but I don't know, this is very many years ago. I don't even know if I have. No. How TV shows? No, I don't remember. I think it was a TED talk. I have it in my favorites, but it's so long ago I don't know how I can find it again. So it was something to do with some sort of meditation or mindful process. I don't know. It's very crazy, and it was something about self intelligence, right? And then my approach was to use this identification of self psychologic, even spiritual, right? It's because you have to believe on those ideas. There's probably some reference to Jungian psychology, so right, archetypes of the mind, of the self, of the myths, of whatever, and then relate this to the human, and then to the personality, and then even whatever the personality we have, maybe there are traits and patterns, and if we can track down according to the model those patterns to archetypes, and then we start to find connections to those archetypes. And as I was finding those in the method, I was intuitively finding sometimes associating one of those archetypes to one of the characters I already had, sometimes using an archetype to create, but it was very intuitive. It's not like I think an archetype and the character appeared to me. No. It was the opposite. A character appeared to me, and then, wow, this is an archetype. Like, this I relate to this archetype. And I believe there would be actually infinite archetypes, so it's not something. It's dangerous to fix on those concepts because it's cool, but at the same time it's limiting. So I think it's very good to use theory as a method to create stuff. If it helps, it's great, but we should always be a bit careful about not exaggerating, right? Because the theory is often just a model, and the models are not creative themselves. They are just models that can be often used as a reproduction, and that is not good. But if we are able to make original things with them, great. Otherwise, we sometimes can. The best thing, however, is that when we are able to use the theory for inventing not just original stuff, but I mean really break the rules, right? I think this is the best use of the theory, usually. Yes, exactly. So, and what is about the comic? Is it something? The story is. What is the theme of the story? Thematics? Is it something? Just curious about that comic. Are you going to? Do you intend to draw the comics, or perhaps make a 3D comics or something else, or are you counting on artists? Collaboration or other thing to have it drawn, I don't know. Or are you just writing the webcomics because the comics because you are inspired and you need to do that, and then if it will be completed, this will be another story for the future? Or are you really planning to complete the project? So here what I can do with this is probably that. No proportional editing here. The shape of those ears. Yes, let's do this merge at center. There we go. This should be enough for at least this version, although I probably could have, yeah, I can have an adjustment here. I could use this just to make a quick fix here to the shape, so it doesn't end like. Alright, so here we probably, yeah, this is complicated. Maybe I need a subdivision here. Alright, this is fair enough. Oh, that mesh here is all disrupted. I think I've marked stuff in the wrong way here. Let's try to outline, reach, I think. Alright, so let's use some coloring here, because this is getting, we need to work on the, I love the exaggerated shapes of the face. I draw and write the comic myself. Ah, great. So what is your style? I don't know. Do you have a site with some references? What? A link, something like that. I do want to read that comic, for sure. If you yes, so here, okay, I love the exaggerated shapes of the face. Thanks. Yes, the do you mean the 3D ones or the 2D ones? Because the exaggerations here on the 3D are not very completed. I mean, this is not. Yes, this needs to be exaggerated, but it's not totally accurate. You see that according to the character design, this needs to reach here. I lack mesh geometry here. Usually I need a different mesh loop. I was using. Yes, I see what I need to do, but it's difficult. I need to create a face loop around here, but I'm not sure how. Yes, I have to cut into the mesh topology, but first of all we need to, otherwise this will keep pushing in this strange way. We have to develop more flexibility in that area here, I guess. But this can work, right? But it's I never done this way exactly, so it's a little strange. Maybe it can work, but I think there is a better solution. I mean, the design in general, it's very different. Cartoon is very nice. Yes, thanks to like years of investigation. It was really, for me, it was a life victory to have developed this style, because when I started trying to draw manga, I was yeah, my drawings were fine, but it never felt like I was comfortable drawing those things. And then there was nothing else that attracted me as much as manga, so I was like in a prison. I felt like, well, I'm drawing this, but I can't draw anything else. I don't like drawing anything else. I can't like to draw anything else. Of course, it was not a manga problem, it was my problem as an artist. But then eventually it happened that, oh, we can have a subdivision here. Alright, so we can make some organization here maybe, yes. And yes, and then it helped me a lot that I started to look upon certain very sophisticated styles. At the time, it was about in the 20s, right? Usually middle 20s and also by the end of 20s, but especially around 2005 and later. And so there were some European artists, comic artists, that also, you know, they're called BD, right? Bande dessinée, right? So, which is like European Franco-Belgian cartoon, and it's a large diversity of styles, and in that diversity, I had the opportunity to travel to France at that time and to study there for a while, but because in Brazil we didn't have much access to the comic books, and the internet was nothing great at this time to find content, right? Research styles, it was not easy. And then I had the opportunity to look at those gigantic libraries of BDs, and I was looking there all the time, and then eventually after some time I started to find so original styles that I've never seen before, that I started to start to re-experiment with styles. Then of course, after a few years later already, the internet was great. I mean, about 2000, not that great, was growing a lot, so already about 2012 and even before that. But yeah, internet started to shift, and at that time there were tons of great artists, original styles online, but it still weren't very easy to find good original cartoon in the internet. One comic artist which kind of influenced me a lot, but it's for a very long time ago, right? It's Wendy Pini from, I think it's like that, from, or Pini 2N or 1N, I think, from Elf Quest. And it's more realistic, it's not that cartoony, right? But it's very, very beautiful drawings and illustrations, and the proportions were really interesting on the characters. They're really like small elves, and then the expressions were really, really, really good, right? And I got some ideas from that, I think. Certainly that influenced me a lot, even though my drawing doesn't really look like that at all. That is a very advanced drawing, very organic, very even, yeah, it's comics, right? It's good comics, independent comics, and yeah, it was art style from the 70s, from the 80s, so it's all in the internet, and that style was on the first that, wow, that exists. And then was a Kickstarter for me to start beginning to start explore better stuff than the poor manga imitations that I was attempting to do at that earlier times. So looks like this is a bad topology here. no, this is going here around, then those loop around. Yeah, this is free to go outside, but maybe it would be better if it just followed, right? Because just after that this is looping. So okay, let's do that. So I'm going to, I don't want to have the model sheets in my way right now, so let's hide them for now, and let's make those materials. I'm forgetting all the time. Sorry, the chat. Okay, hold on. I remember Elfquest. Oh, you knew Elfquest. Good evening. Welcome back, Dan Jung. I hope the day has been productive. Yes, in the beginning of the day was already very productive because I was able to, maybe, yeah, I think you were there, to make these proof of concepts, 2 proof of concepts for some advanced eyelids rig. Dynamic, I'd call it dynamic eyelids rig. Maybe I should show, hold on, I'm gonna save this. I'm just gonna open that. Of course, here is this is Dorta. Of course, I'm exploring some multi expressions. Don't mind, this is very bizarre, but even frightening. But this doesn't matter. What we want here is to show the actual, okay, where's the armature? Here we hide. So there are a lot of bones for the face here, for the eyes, and so we need to show here the mesh. Where's the eyes? Here. Okay, also let's hide this, and let's give some, maybe that. No, don't need that. So just this. So here's the, oh, also for this it'd be better to get some, of course, what do we have also? Okay, the other eye, and we can show a little of the hair. Okay, so ignore the mouth for now, it's working process. But here we have some, yeah, some, we don't see very well, it's too chaotic, too many bones. Hold on. Okay, so basically we have eyelids rig here, so we can dynamics eyelids rig. So this means that I can have control on the eyelids shapes in many different ways through these splines here. Hold on. So here we have, there's just 2 splines for the top and the bottom. And so yes, lots of possibilities. And even, let's reset. Okay, so of course there are the eyes also, and then we can control the shapes here also. This controls everything at the same time, so it's to facilitate. But these are the tip here for this sort of cartoony expressions. And yeah, and then there is the eyelids, which also control the eyelashes. So it's first we have this, of course there's eyelash bones, they are there, they move out in an automated way. Then we've got the actually it's better to see from below, because there are no how do you say, there are no bottom eyebrows, right, so to interfere. So those bones, they do that. Then we have the eyebrows actually, which are connected to this, but we move independently, so we can, it's not perfect, but we can do lots of expressions. I'm still exploring how to improve, right? But usually this is already achieved, right, successfully. And then there's those main controls which do everything. And then also there would be, for example, pose assets in animation that we can add. I don't have any pose assets right now, but we could record a pose assets like yeah, I don't have, they were deleted. I need to add something like in the pose library, like this for animation, so it start to get pose assets. Like, how do you create a pose asset? So I get a bone like this one, and let's say I give it this pose and this, and then I pick those two bones, and then asset, create pose asset, and there we go. Except that we can use the camera to improve the preview. And so here I have a pose asset, so that means that we can have a lot of these, right? So then we can apply flipped pose. It applies automatically. So, and there is some way to make an intermediate. Of course, you just one, yeah, that's enough for this. Okay, let's go back to our lab, which is, no, it's not lab. Wow, I don't know whether okay, I know it's not lab. It's like not character. It's projects, low poly. Okay, so Nixo low poly. All right, so sorry about the time. It was okay. I can see how the inspiration came from that. Oh yes, interesting. I guess, yeah, it's hard to track down, but indeed that would require a more profound graphical analysis, right? Even myself, maybe I don't see exactly, but I think you are correct if you say this. You can see, because the patterns are not that, there are relations there, right, of the pattern. So it's just that it might be hard to analyze. Oh, it's exactly this that is similar, is that. I wouldn't ask you to do an analysis just to please me, but I like this kind of analysis. Myself, I make a lot of analysis for on artwork, so this is why I'm talking about that. But no, don't bother. Only if you are interested. I would like to know. There are probably similarities that I have never figured out totally, so this could always be interesting to investigate from the point of view of someone else, right? Another. That is just curiosity. So here we could, how? Okay, let's think how can solve this thing. Oh, I didn't finish to solve these materials, right? So let's start working on that. Okay, we need to, let's copy that and paste to viewport display here. So okay, bad material, let's make a new one. This would be like, let's bring a new color here and preview. Actually, I can just keep making this and adding preview color. So let's say the first one, let's get it a white stuff anyways. Can I reset this? No, well, by doing this. Alright, then the second one and the preview of the, why it has this color, preview is wrong. I think this thing is bugged. Okay, let's delete this. I don't trust this craziness. So preview, it's not preview, it's surface. So get this base color. Okay, then this preview is that. Okay, then we do copy here. We get here. Then surface can, let's give this will be a some green color. Then copy here, then we paste here. Alright, so this will be 2. We can already use this for example, here. We can use perhaps a thing like that here. So we pick some red color here and go to, okay, I need to differentiate. No, I just need to paint something. Right, so this is the face. Could be here too. Then we can have those face loops here. Okay, this is fine. Can still, no, not use this. Let's reuse these ones. I've made this different. Then there's the mouth loops. Okay, these are equivalent, so let's, not exactly equivalent. This starts already to get from the chin on the front side, so let's make this that color for now. Then this is already mouth, no, this is the problem. Okay, see, where's the problem? And so all these are mouth rigging stuff. And then the lips, okay, this is still mouth, and then the lips, actually this we can get just from here. And let's, so here is the nose tip, so this could be yeah, we can leave it white, the top of the head white. This seems to be wrong, but this is because those subdivisions are not set in place yet. I don't know how to solve these subdivisions yet, so let's just leave it like that. Oh, here also subdivision lacking. Yes, all those faces here really sound like useless for this, but not so useful because this part of the mesh, it requires for some expressions, right, to go up, so it'll probably require more mesh topology here and here. So let's anticipate a little of this, but yeah, so perhaps up to here and that's it. But it doesn't mean that we require those subdivisions behind, so let's just, actually this could be looping because of the deforms here, so this is risky that we have no more face loops here. Yeah, so I'm not sure about this part, but at least here could be like that, except that the top of the head is really strange right now, but she has hair, so it shouldn't be a real problem, right? We can probably do something like that here. This is, yeah, this looks a bit strange. Let's try to, yeah, don't want to make the, oh, okay, I see, this face is horrible because we need to find a way for, okay, let's do something like that then. So it will be something octagonal just like that. This should help. And then we get this. This helps in fixing this mesh topology. So here we can end up just by making, okay, we can make this, and here we can probably make this into yeah, it's valid to do this, especially for yeah, I don't like is those loop going crazy all around, so unfortunately yeah, that we lose something. Yeah, not sure, so we're gonna investigate that later, but at least we got this, and let's create new one here with blue color. Sounds better, but not that blue, maybe something lighter. Always lighter is better, unless we want really to distinguish some color very much, otherwise it becomes dark, we don't see the edge. So, hold on, let's see, go back the chat. Very impressive work, thanks. I think you're referred to the eyelids stuff, eyes rig. Wendy Penny Elf Quest, I also have this. Oh, you have the comics. Welcome back, Alotsky. So I've read Elf Quest in the internet. I think there's the official site. I had just one or two pressed comics of Elf Quest. This in the early 20s, I guess. This everything I found that was published in my town in the early 20s or so. Unfortunately, although I would have bought everything, but there was only a few, and fortunately then I found the internet. The story is really very interesting. I really like the, no, I don't know if I should spoiler that, but I really like the way the two main characters, the two male characters, they find the amulet at the end. They discover it has nothing, it was not what they thought it were. That was like the cathartic, like I think this was the best plot ever. Very hard to find some plot twist like that. Of course it was expected, like everything changed to the understanding of the world, of the myth, of the elves, of everything. So it was at the same time it's very sad, but at the same time it's a discovery. That's the most interesting thing. It's like the character, they get out of the cave, like Platonic cave concept. So I think Elf Quests have a lot of great things, but that plot twist, I think after so many long adventures and chapters, you don't find this in a lot of other stories. This is like very, very, very rare. To make it as good as it was made in Elf Quest. It's something like impossible to forget that. They have wrested from ignorance. Unfortunately, it is getting very late for me, and I must work tomorrow, so I have to sleep. I love your work, and I hope to see more of you and your work very soon. Good night. Yes, thanks for being around, Ignigir, and commenting and participating, sharing your ideas. Then after, tell me about your comics more. I want to know more about this. Take care and see you next time. I'll be here, and have a good rest and good work tomorrow. I'll continue here. So let's see how we can. Okay, so the shapes are getting good, but I'm not sure yes, looking in the front, she really starts to look like the character design, at least because of the eyes mostly, and also some angular shapes that we are still trying to solve. Then okay, let's go for the most radical things soon enough. So there's the head, which should shrink at this time, this mesh. This is on the way. This, okay, this can go in this direction, okay. Then here, let's start to see what we can do here. Yes, this can redistribute this mesh. Good idea right now. Don't even need, I need all this topology here. Okay, this sounds acceptable. Then here, let's bring this here. Let's see what we can connect behind the ear. Maybe if I just hid this, but then we don't see the actual vertex at the end. Now we see, so we can connect the mesh from, I think there's a wrong face here. No, it's a hole. So we just need to get this and connect here. All right. Now, yes, this looks good. Now this will loop around here, because why not? It's what there's left, although this is the... Okay, so these two phase loops are unique. What about the mesh topology around the nose? This, not sure if this is valuable. Then here, looks like we're lacking some topology here. But all depends on how we deal with this part here, which is critical. So maybe I won't touch this yet. So let's just start to mix this and see if this is possible. Okay, don't like this, so let's try to make something crazy here. Let's try to subdivide here and try to... Then we have some problem here with diamonds. No more problem with diamonds. And now this one still goes in that direction. No more going on that direction. These loops all around, and this is bad. Okay, this the bad decision that I've made there. All these, okay, these loops here, this is bad, and this is acceptable. All this die somewhere. Just this one is more complicated. So what about this? Yeah, then the shape of the head starts to get really bad, so it's dangerous to make those quads like that. So perhaps what I can do is start another way to reorganize this mesh here. So currently this, okay, I see that the disposition of this is to do that, so let's solve that. Do we need this subdivision? Yes, it's a crucial one. I know some... Why it's not looping around? It could be looping around, although... Yes, this looks wrong for the proposition. Let's redo this. So instead of having this here, we'd have this already. Of course, this is not, this is done. And now we have a problem here, but then I know there's a solution for that. Okay, even if it means this for now. Why is this going? Now this is not what I wanted, but I've never done this kind of... This is strange. Maybe this is not bad. Yeah, very strange. I'm too risky. Although curious, I want this to go like that, but I need to check my other mesh topology. I always get confused in this area for some strange reason. I just don't remember what is. The problem is this diamond quad here. But then if there is not something like that, how the mesh will loop? This is looping fine because it's not encountering the... At some point the mesh must split. So oh, that's it. That's just that. Just get this more into... I think I've this unmade... Okay, let's dissolve that for now. And let's do this for now. Okay, and now trying to do the same here, but for this part. So what it means is that this goes straight to... Okay, it goes, but then what happens? There's something crossing that way. So this would connect here actually. This solve that. This actually will connect. It's merged there. And then the last one. Yes, this makes sort of a connection like that, but it's twisting, so this is wrong topology. Like this doesn't exist. It's like that. And then there is, of course, some excessive loop here, unnecessary. And now this would be equivalent to, so this just touches there with the point, but what happens later? This is a quad, not a triangle, but it has the appearance of a triangle. It subdivides, but it grows as it was laterally, or because actually this thing goes that direction, that's it. So it's a confusion in the geometry. It would be very bizarre. So it's still a touching thing, but then it's not like this, it's like here. And so this helps to regulate this whole thing, and then we can just dissolve all this, and okay, there we go. So now, and I believe this also we can create an extra here, and just like here, so now let's see here, we should be able to create the okay, so the more loops are regular here, the more the mouth should obtain good expressions all around. So probably this is a mistake, because the mouth should be able sometimes even to get the forms around here. So this is all the area where the mouth should be around. So this means that this is still something that should be looping around the mouth. So let's connect this. Actually, we could create some okay, now what I need is something the side here, but this part is also problematic, so I'm going to create this exactly here. Then what we need is to reorient the face loops in this part here. So here, for example, we need to try to create perhaps something new here. Let's disconnect this. Okay, it's clear that this should go anyways, should go here. And yeah, let's create this thing, because otherwise we won't be able to. The problem is that this loop, it must have enough topology here in order to be more rounded here, at least here, not necessarily here, but here. So this mesh must have a feature of surrounding as it gets further away, and by adding that extra it seems to be more plausible that it works. Also, the advantage of doing that, something that I'm thinking now, is that we can still have the possibility of making puffy cheeks from this mesh that has this sort of half circle feature. So instead of making another circle, we just try to use this mesh here. Should be good enough, provided we have enough subdivisions here well placed. And it's not exactly the case right now, but it's nearly the case. So yeah, we can probably have some good deforms there. And of course it's very disorganized right now, but at least the mesh topology is getting better. So I think this part is, so I need to realize which are the side things. I think those are the most important from the sides, at least one of them, maybe two. I can't be sure, so let's give this this color for now. We don't know. Oh, I think this is the central line, so actually it will be this one and not, and we just forget about this one. So we need to take care. At least that's how we've reoriented the mesh, so we can change this, but it's not that easy. So currently this, it would be the center line, then it continues, but here we have the possibility to change the mesh topology if we want. I'm not sure I want to do this, so let's continue with this strategy. And here probably this should grow, but I'm not sure where it should go. Neither do these ones, so I have some questions about how this will flow. A simple idea will that they would surround that. Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do. So we got the tip here, somewhere like here, and that part of the mesh arbitrarily will pick as a sort of a pivot for what is going to grow from it. So we're gonna pick this mesh here, and then we are going to increase this here. We need to start having, okay, actually we need to do this from this. So we ignore this thing, we don't know how we'll solve that last thing, so we are going to extrude from this. So this part of the mesh in terms of geometry already start to rise. And then we pick this and start to rotate. And as it rotates, it should go, of course, let's give this another color so we can understand what these are. Just white for now. It's what it's left to avoid confusion. Then we continue here, no problem here. Maybe we should just delete this in the way. Then we continue here. We grow another face here, and here I see it's trying to loop around. This is the tip in the middle, and now this starts to rotate. So let's merge that. I think there's here something strange stuff there, I don't know, so let's do it differently. Okay, so here sounds good. Then 1, and this should be enclosed by perhaps this and this. And now we start to have, okay, we need to make a quad here. I think something is lacking. Yeah, just a subdivision here. Then we close here. Now what is the point becomes that. So this you can also paint in red. So this is an interior part. We can actually paint this area all in red, and then this in white. And so we have this mesh topology here. Now this we were correcting, and so this is looping from the nose to, should just be a continuation. So these would go until here, and okay, put this in a very wrong place. What about these things? What is this? This looks that it has lost some reference. Okay, it's from there. It's going too far away. Maybe we need just a new subdivision here to be able to redistribute these properly. What about the chin? Sounds like we got some. Okay, and let's try to smooth out all this mesh. I need the character design, otherwise cannot compare. Okay, so apparently my annotations disappeared. I fear I've lost my annotations. No, I just keyframe them. That happens. It's very strange when that happens. Wait. Now I think I've totally lost them. Lock keyframes. Okay, don't know about that. Anyways, let's keep this, at least it's alright, but we they are all back, so I don't know how to use this thing. Unlocked, okay. and I cannot delete the keyframe. It will ruin. I never thought this would be keyframe. This is, I don't understand the logic of this thing right now. At least we've got our model back. So here we can check model sheet back. We can now work on these things. Let's reuse proportional editing and see if we can. Okay, I didn't finish that part, so this is not good stuff. Let's see. Here this could connect there probably. Then here we yeah, let's delete that. Here we see how much mesh is lacking here, although we could start to simplify from here, but yeah, I'm getting away from simplicity. I don't know how to reduce the mesh topology from all that already exists. Let's hide this for now. It's a bit annoying. It's in the way. Here I think this just merged there. Delete edge. Then this connects. Wait, this is wrong. It's just not the right face. So this goes here, connects here. Again, face. Those faces are too long, elongated, and so maybe I can dissolve this. Yes. So let's try just to simplify a little for now. Whatever doesn't affect the mesh topology and is not crucial to the shape. So here, of course, this is wrong. We need to do something about this. So probably I can maybe too many subdivisions here. This certainly should go there or not. Where this would try to go. It doesn't need to go there. It doesn't sound very smart, but it could work. This could go what if it goes down? It's doesn't know. I don't know. So don't know for now. We'll see how it can develop. So that's good. Let's align this. Yes, we can probably making this change won't affect their shapes on other angles, so this should be safe to do for now. Now let's see, we got this. I see the spreading mesh here. This is all very disorganized, so I'm gonna try to so the approach that I'm using here that I probably can use on the other model is like having a lot of mesh subdivision here, probably more than that, so that maybe the mouth can be small like that, and then we expect to be using all this space for mesh topology for the deforms of the mouth shape. And the mouth can be small like that. Maybe it's easier later. This is something we need to experiment a little more with that for mouth rigging. Alright, so here I need to solve this in some way. We had the subdivision before, and this kind of helped in understanding what we needed to do, because now this one can go down. Like follow this pattern, even though here we have problem. So just, I believe we should perhaps reduce this, so we have one less subdivision, but it will help in, and one less here. It was a subdivision that was problematic for this process. Then we can push the mesh to that direction and kind of compensate for what we've made as change there. This probably can push there. No, this is wrong. Here we have a trigon that how can that be addressed? Probably subdivision here that we can ignore for now. Okay, this should stay there. This must perhaps come closer there. Now here starts to be a bit complicated with what we've built. This is okay, but we need to be sure where it would go. This could try to reach, okay, let's say it reached there. No, again this goes down. So this is incorrect. This actually should try to follow this. And by doing this, we can connect here. And now this gets this good loop. Alright, and this one now is just a regular loop also. Yes, those colors are not helping anymore. We're gonna find anything else later. At least let's get this one. For the chin, this is the bottom of the chin, and this is the front of the chin. Okay, let's give that color. Then this is probably not good. Let's give that. This is more important, so let's give it that color. Here we need to merge here maybe. All this mesh could go right towards there. Lot of geometry here that is very bad distributed. shapes here are getting really bad. I think this cannot be correct. Something, yeah, something really wrong happened to the chin area here, even to the mouth. I think the mouth got displaced or not. No, it seems, but it's strange. Or was it like that? I don't know. Not sure why it is looking strange right now. Oh, it's because of this. Alright. Probably this got... Need to... Here too, this is wrong. So need to adapt. Smooth everything here. And nearly completing this, we're about to close that space, even though there are hard things here that we need to fix in shapes. We can solve this in we don't need to solve this totally. We will just try to align some stuff, and as we close we keep smoothing and then organize from the basics. We'll try to need proportional editing, yeah, then problem is it's hard to find with sometimes if the mesh is too much irregular. It's sometimes just impossible to smooth things with those tools. Need to make special things that can be very much time consuming, at least in modeling. Okay, so what are these? Maybe these are old stuff. Let's dissolve that. This area below can be simplified. Let's see if I can just merge that. Then let's see what's left here. I think I've deleted. So this face loop goes there and it dies there, and of course looks like we need some adjustment correction here. Now this loop is back. Now same for this, but now I think we don't have this loop anymore, so this goes down there. Okay, acceptable, but it doesn't make much sense. No, actually it makes sense. This is already below the chin, or should be. Okay, let's make some adjustments. If it is not below the chin, then let's make it below the chin, because we can. If we can make that, this would be the last one. So there's some logic into this. And this would be already below the chin. So, and for that we need to adjust here. Oh, this mesh is actually a bit different. Yeah, can be solved easily. Okay, this is proportional editing is not helping. This mesh should go like that. Here it'd be the case perhaps for more subdivisions, otherwise we have two large shapes here going in very... It's not wrong, but maybe it won't help the deforms later. Can always solve that later. So here is below the chin. This is what requires a lot of alignment. This with proportional editing, let's push it down. Rotate. Yeah, it's starting finally to get in shape after so long, and here probably we can still try to follow that curving shape, except from other... Now it doesn't loop around there, but it could. Okay, why not? It goes right to the ear, so no, actually this is nice, right below the ear. Okay, I like this. And now let's see about this mesh. We are reaching for the neck region. Alright, so the neck can be super low poly. So I think we can start to go to the neck, right? Let's start for the body finally. Congrats if you are still watching. I think, okay, still not. Let me fix the head first. This and this. Then let's dissolve all that. Dissolve vertex. Here it will be more like dissolve edges here. Okay, so there are many ways to solve this part here, but it's always the same thing. I don't want the vertices to be looping around all the body from the top of it. I want to have some dead end to certain features, and often it's very difficult to know how to do those things, so we could start with we could start with some diamond quad making. I'm getting more knowledgeable about... Actually this was wrong. This is not the correct thing to do. Okay, so it's here. And here, alright. So here's a diamond quad. And then Okay, then how does this end? Just like that. Alright. But they are still looping very badly, so at least we solved the topology in a simple way, but we still have complications with the looping, which we perhaps can solve with some very cheesy trick. Let's see, with these loops down there. Yeah, nothing can be done about that. Alright, let's go for the body. I think this is okay, except for these shapes. Let's try to... Yeah, this is also very bad. That part here need to find a solution. And let's just make some adjustments to the head here, the proportions. Alright, I'd like to add the eyes, but I think it's another process. Should be simple. If I can do it fast, then that's good. So this, let's just do some adjustments here. Object set origin to geometry, set origin to 3D cursor. Let's lock that. Then we add a surface, NURB surface. We bring it up, we rotate. Okay, actually we lock everything for now. We rotate on edit mode, and then we are going to show the mesh here on perhaps as yeah, let's show the mesh as wireframe. It will be easier to work. Not visibility, but viewport display. Not in front, but where my Blender crashed. Let's open it again. Alright, so object, and okay, so apparently, yeah, I've lost some retakes here. Okay, that sounds good. Let's save and let's try again. Surface, NURB surface, edit mode. Okay, let's rotate 90. Let's get back here and get this to wireframe. Now it seems, no, it's not wireframe, it's wire. Alright, so here now we get that object. We start to, we'll turn this into a mesh anyways, but we first want to create the perfect curve shape, or as close as we can. Then of course we can solve other adjustments instead with a lattice modifier. This is my last approach. It's more versatile. So here it will be, of course, very difficult to keep changing those things without those changes here. So currently it will be better if I could, yeah, okay, I can show. And maybe it would be better if I also had some sort of, yeah, maybe wire is not good. Yeah, it's might be important to actually be able to, indeed, it's just this color. Then this color perhaps should be something like viewport display. Let me put back some soundtrack so that we can continue in this thing with some more inspiration perhaps. And here, no, nothing changed here. Right, so okay, I should be careful about these things. They go too far. Yeah, but they cannot. Yeah, I have to make some twisting here. This is the most complicated part for using these things, but it's solvable. It just requires more patience. There are holes there. Holes at the top. So these points can start to get really strange. But it's okay, but it's very hard to, it's not that intuitive. Now I'm having, I had easier times with this. Of course, because the head is, yeah, perhaps without the mirror modifier would be better. But even then there's, yeah, so actually this can help. There is see there's interpenetrations there, and they are a clue to the correct position. They are a referencing points. Here the bottom is problematic. Okay, this can be like that. This part seriously we don't want to be anyway interpenetrate, so it can really go curving inwards, although it looks bizarre. Yeah, something like that perhaps. Then this, yeah, it needs to go this one is very important. This we are too far away, but the point is okay. We can hold on, I see the message. I think you should rest in Russia. There is say the morning is wiser than the even. I didn't know that saying. Very good. Good idea. I really was looking to complete this. Yeah, I didn't want to engage this. I knew it could take some time, but while I could go directly for the rest of the body, which is the much more interesting to know that. However, then the morning, because the morning is wiser than evening. Yeah, it's very late there, also in Russia. Here, or early, actually early. Here is late. Yes, so I'm just going to finish this thing. Doing the body, which is the most interesting part, already being tired is not. So maybe this is why I've decided intuitively to have this made first. It's not good enough, but we can already have this. Maybe I'll make some retakes on this thing, and let's just change some stuff here. So there are materials, we can add some yeah, don't need to be realistic, just yeah, new material for now. It's just to differentiate. And okay, for the head of a character with this complexity is actually it's medium poly, right? Not exactly low poly, but there are so many deforms to do here, especially around all this region here until around here, then all around the eyes. So this is orbicularis oculi region, then all around the mouth and the skin here, and until probably here, and even here a little bit, so slightly here, so very slightly in this region too. This should be deforming quite a lot, so requires mesh density. And then the rest, the neck, I'll do super low poly as much as I can, all these limbs, everything, it will be radically low poly. So it's really just for the head expressions, the face expressions, that perhaps some details like the hands, if I want to make fingers, also might have in some place a bit more geometry, but here it's really for good facial expressions. And I kind of I'm liking how this is showing up, and we have here something wrong about the... Oh, I don't have... Okay, I know why this is happening. This is just plain materials. If I want to show this flat, I'd require to just show object. There we go. So I like how the shape, the simple shape that is taking there for this character, it's even more successful than what I had in the other. And so the idea of having a lot of shapes like this regular, circular, and a lot, maybe this is the way to go for the kind of rig. So I'm going just to check the order, and then I'm going to close the live streaming, because this was an extra thing. Let's compare. Okay, there's here the mesh topology, and here's the circular shape, and I was risking something new here, but now I think this should go in this direction, unless I have some loops that loop around this, but even then I think it's a bit dangerous. I still want to experiment with that, so maybe I'm not getting rid of this thing, which is quite interesting, but yeah. Maybe it's not, also it will be problematic. This mount won't be able to deform very well as it go to that region. It won't take much benefit from this mesh geometry, I believe, from this mesh topology. It would take more advantage of mesh topology like this. So I'm going to still, well, I have this as a backup anyway, so that's it, folks. Thanks for watching, thanks for participating. Alaska, thank you for your contributions, and this is it for now. Tomorrow I think I'll be back to this, and I don't know exactly what I'll approach, but certainly it takes on this bone, this thing that I didn't finish. I'll try to change the splines for the mouth. I think I have some idea here that what is working now is not, what's now not very satisfying. Perhaps change the mesh topology here, and attempt perhaps some, yeah, let's see how we can make a top jaw thing from that other tutorial. Simple mount rig. We can probably benefit here from an expression like that, certainly. So there's a top jaw and bottom jaw. With the bottom system we already have, and I don't have a lot of ideas how to solve, but as we grow this stuff, we'll be knowing about it. So that's it finally. Take care, have a nice day, and see ya tomorrow, folks, or today later, depending on the times. Goodbye and happy blending.